the day of Kwanzaa is purpose, so the response is needed. Aboragani.
Mbira.
That's in Swahili. In the language of the tribe I'm being initiated into, if it said Akwabo, the response would be Yo. Akwabo.
Yo.
It's just a simple mood. I hope you can hear me. My voice will be fading in and out. Some of my students say that happens often. We are here to celebrate, so don't let my voice put you in a down mood. It's customary, first of all, to introduce myself. My name is James Briggs. I'm on faculty and staff here in the African American Cultural Center. We hope you will come in for many more of our offerings, both those sponsored and co-sponsored by friends, much like Alonzo Jones and others. Before we begin anything, though, it is customary to give thanks to the ancestors upon whose shoulders we stand, for the gifts we receive and for those we are about to receive. This is done so that God should be served by our actions, and that respectful guidance be given our reactions. And, as it has been often cited, we are a call and response people. If this is so, then it's only wise to seek help, maintaining the why, the what, the when, the how of this ancient system. The call to the ancestors, then, is a plea for direction, that we may be guided in our thanksgiving, and that our actions should be respectful of those who've made the moment possible. It is therefore appropriate that we honor the past before taking any present course of action. This is the African way. We do this with the essence of life, water, and with an awareness of our spiritual connection to all life and to the source of all life. We pause now to call upon the spirit and guidance of the few, just a few of the common ancestors who were connective threads to the service of our featured guest, to the calling he has for the frequency we call music. After calling each ancestor by name, it is customary to affirm the significance of their calling by saying, well, it varies from culture to culture. We say Ashe, Ashe, which is a Yoruba term of thanksgiving. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. May we be guided by the spirit of Bob Marley. Ashe.
Ashe.
Duke Ellington.
Ashe.
Dizzy Gillespie.
Ashe.
William Grant Still.
Ashe.
Suru Ake.
Ashe.
Is a Nigerian. Sukau Kamara Cobra is Guinea. Ashe. John Blanford. Ashe. And the rest are family names, particular too, but they will resonate with you. These are family members of Soleil Craig Wilson. Grandma Mutt, Ashe. Grandpa Charlie, Ashe, who's a Choctaw. Mama Huella, Ashe. Papa Ernie, Ashe. Papa Gum, Ashe. And Jeremiah Mohammed, Ashe. I don't have any, usually a stick is pounded to remind the ancestors that we're here. So, sometimes that's called jarring the floor. We ready? Before going further, we want to knit in the celebration, the African celebration, African American celebration of Kwanzaa. So we need to have the Kanar. we need to have the candles lit. So Tabitha, would you come? We'll find out more about the principles of Kwanzaa with Alonzo. That's a good old. He's a child. So that you'll know what the mystery is all about. I'd like to introduce or call to the fore Alonzo Jones, who has been friend, mentor, mentee. It's been just good things. We mention things over the phone, and before long we have an office full of music. Alonzo, would you come forward, please? I'm just doing what I was told to do. Harambee! Harambee! Harambee!
Please help me, folks.
Harambee!
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Pan-African Music Association's first annual Kwanzaa concert in association with the Black Studies Department of Cleveland State. I'd like to start by thanking Dr. Howard Mills, who isn't with us today, and Professor James Spriggs for all their help in making this concert a reality. I'd also like to thank all the volunteers and CSU staff that contributed to putting this event together. Kwanzaa is a time when African Americans are asked to come together and celebrate the meaning of the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba. Excuse me, I'm a little choked up. Those principles being Umoja, or unity, Kujichagulia, self-determination, Ujaima, collective work and responsibility, Ujama, cooperative economics, Nia, purpose, Kuamba, creativity, and Imani, or faith. We are also asked to dedicate ourselves to living out these principles in our daily lives by setting goals that will contribute to the growth and well-being of our community and our families. Each of the 7 days of Kwanzaa is dedicated to reflection upon and celebration of one of these 7 principles. This, the 5th day of Kwanzaa, is dedicated to the principle of Nia, or purpose. Dr. Malana Karenga, the founder of Kwanzaa, envisioned this principle as meaning that we African Americans should all be dedicated to building institutions in our community which serve our needs on our own terms. These institutions include businesses, social and cultural organizations, as well as educational programs. It's my belief that the education of our children is the most important part of this principle. While we as African Americans have had much to be dismayed about in terms of the public school systems throughout the country and their ability to serve the needs of our children, and while we do in fact have the right to demand that these public institutions begin to do better by our children, we must always bear the final responsibility for the education of our children upon ourselves. Our children must understand the unique historical factors that affect our presence in this country, and they must be inspired to work towards improving the situation. We must tell them that they can make a difference. They must learn this in the home and in the church, as well as in the schools. I urge all you parents here today to make it your personal mission to teach our children the knowledge, the history, the values that they need in order to make our community whole, to teach them the history that the public schools cannot or will not teach. The knowledge is out there. You need only to seek it out. One of the aims of Kwanzaa celebrations is that African Americans begin to identify with other African and trans-African peoples around the globe. We are bound to those people by history and by blood. In fact, we are family. Previous generations of African Americans have not always had the resources or the opportunity to explore the world African connections. Today, however, global communication, media, and transportation systems make it easier, if not necessarily cheaper, for Pan-African understanding and cooperation to become a reality. That brings me to the purpose of the Pan-African Music Association. This nonprofit membership group was formed to help educate the community about the various forms of Pan-African music around the world that do not get the same level of exposure in the United States as jazz and blues, gospel, R&B, or rap. This music would include Afro-Caribbean styles such as reggae, soca, calypso, and zouk, the incredibly numerous folk and pop music styles from Africa itself, as well as Afro-Latin styles from Cuba, Brazil, Peru, and other Latin American countries. It is my belief that exploring this music can be a catalyst for understanding these peoples and their cultures. But the learning needn't stop with the music. But it is a fun and relatively inexpensive way to get started. Some area libraries have CDs and cassettes to loan out, or you could visit my friends at the Timbuktu bookstore on East 55th and Superior. Where's JB at? Raise your hand, JB. Oh, okay. Thanks. And visit them and start your own collection of Pan-African music. I'd also like you to consider today, before you leave, joining PAMA, the Pan-African Music Association, to learn more about the music and to stay abreast of African musical events in the Cleveland area. I urge you to stop by the membership table on your way out after the show this evening and join PAMA today. Now for the musical portion of today's program. I don't want to keep you waiting too much longer. I'd like to introduce a man whose life illustrates the spirit of Kwanzaa and the purpose of PAMA perfectly. Sule Greg Wilson is both an artist and a scholar of various Pan-African drumming styles. He has spent most of his life learning, teaching, and documenting African culture. His book, The Drummer's Path, is both educational and inspirational for musicians and non-musicians alike. He has worked on African culture projects for the Schomburg Center for Black Cultural Research in New York. He's worked for the Smithsonian Institute, as well as numerous community groups around the country. Today, Sule will take us on a musical journey around the African diaspora. I'd like you to join me in welcoming Sule Greg Wilson to Cleveland.
Hi everybody, glad to be here. Thanks for coming out. Holiday and cold and stuff like that. I was listening back there and something occurred to me. Bang, bang. Oh, one reason. Oh, thank you very much. I gotta remember what I said. One reason why Africans in America, African Americans don't get history, continuous history. History starts in 1690. 20 negroes dropped by Dutch man of war. That's what the documents say. But it just occurred to me back there that that's the way Euro-American history is taught. Europe is taught just as a reason why Euro-Americans are over here. So it stops at the Atlantic, no matter who you are, unless you want to reach back. Okay, let's see. Who am I? I was born in Washington, D.C., and I realized after my book came out that I'm a fourth-generation writer. My grandfather was also into drama. He was directed the Howard Players. And I think one of the reasons that I'm able to stand here today is because I can say I have African ancestors come from this place. I can say I have European ancestors come from this place. I can say I have indigenous ancestors come from this place. So, you kind of, sorry about that, be comfortable with anybody. I have a lot of fun. See this? Anybody know what this is? It's a tipper. It's not the right size drum. I can't do the right thing. Irish drum. From my great-great-grandfather O'Connor. My great-grandmother Higgins. But anyway, talk about something. So because of that, I'm able to be comfortable and move around to different places. Like many times I'm the raisin in the rice pudding. But you got to do that. I just came back from Flippin, Arkansas, where once again, but I went because it was the first annual Ozark Banjo Festival. And I needed to be there because one of the people that were presenting that day were one of the about 5 people who are in the vanguard of doing pre-Reconstruction banjo music. And if you look to that music, you can find out what the Africans were doing and how they reacted to being here. Find out a lot of good things. You can say, white folks go to meeting house, never crack a smile. Black folks go to meeting house, you hear them shout a mile. Oh, they get down, they get turn, they don't get around. You have a little social commentary. Whoa, poor black lady, ain't got no money. Find a lot of deep stuff in here. If you find a black cat, save him, save him. If you find a black cat, shave him. Other way around. Find a black cat, save him, save him. If you find a white cat, shave him to the tail. And I think a black person wrote that. He might have been a little angry about that. But the white person that recorded it, I don't think they understood the hidden implications of that song. But that's all right, because things have to come out, and you have to talk about it. Now, how did I learn all this stuff? When I was a little kid, I used to collect the oatmeal boxes, beat on them and stuff like that. I had my little place in the kitchen, underneath the cupboard, where I kept my toys and my boxes in a right special place. And then you see the box would break the top and that was done. And I was lucky enough when I got to junior high school to be, my aunt was a teacher there, and she was one of the co-sponsors of the African Heritage Club at Libation Junior High School in Washington, D.C. And so I got involved in that, and there was a performing arm, folkloric arm of this African ensemble. And I got into that. I was, dancing and drumming and singing and actually doing it the way it's supposed to be done, And on stage, you have the African dancers and you have the group dancers and you have the poets and you have all these different, and then you got the gospel group and all this stuff is going on in one group. It's like, part of the family. That was really good. We're doing Aiko, so I'm listening to Olatunji and Santana and Osibisa. And, Eddie Palmieri. So, and that's the stuff that's going in. And I kept up with that. And dancing, I couldn't keep up with too much because dance teachers are very, very hard to find. But drumming is a lot easier to do, much more socially accepted. I can go be in a jazz band in school. Stuff like that. I continued on with that. Went to Oakland College for 2 years. So I've been through Cleveland before. I went there for 2 years, and that allowed me to realize that what I had to do was leave Ohio and go to New York City. It was either go to New York City or go to Africa. And I figured I'd better finish school. So New York it was. So I could go back home, right? Put all this money in here. We weren't going to do that. So I went to New York and got my bachelor's. And learned all this stuff. At the same time. Amazingly, I don't see how I did it, but I did it. I worked with a group of people who were fantastic, International African American Ballet. Look at that group. Individually, they were all powerhouses because they had studied like Congolese, or been initiated in a con, or had parents were from Barbados, and the other one was half Cuban, half Panamanian, and all these people came together to do all these musics. And as an example, came to see me play, so let me play something. They talk about, I want to do African drumming. Okay, now, I'm going to do it all on this, I'll do it on this one and this drum. But here's just an example, okay? You have the Mande People in Senegal, the Djembe people. So you'll go to them and you'll, ethnic group in Senegal are the Wolof people. And they're very, 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 remember, Europeans have been in Senegal dealing since the 1400s, early 1400s. The Wolof have learned how to deal in the West. So that's why their dance company comes here a lot. It's a good market. So Wolof, traditional main Wolof drum is the sabak drums, which are also a different stick and hand drum. You also go. Oh, what I was doing was bowls from Tabla drum, Indian Tabla. They learn the words. Like say, if you can't say it, you can't play it. So you know, da 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 da. So you also go. So, you know, it's all over the world. It's the way to learn. But we're not done yet. Also, you go to Jola people, you have to book it up. One country. And that's not all in one country, you know, because then you have the Tabla drum. You want to talk, oh, I have a talking drum. Okay. You have a Tabla drum. You have a dundun. You have dono. You have kalangu. These are all different hourglass shaped drums. Variable tension shaped drums. But if you're Yoruba, your dundu will say, but if you're Dagomba, it'll be because the drum doesn't talk. It doesn't say words. It plays and moves in the variable shape. To get different sounds, but it doesn't say like the Yoruba drum does. But then if you go to the Wolof drum, because the Wolof people, and the top drum goes very small, up here in the armpit. It sounds just like the drum goes like this because that's what it does. It's true.
Go ahead with that, man.
All right, so, here. Now, talking about defendant, I'll do a little piece from the canon, from the Yoruba canon, just as an official invocation kind of thing. This instrument is called Shekere. And a lot of people like to play Shekere. And usually people pick it up and they go like this. But this is actually, I say this all the time because I think it's very important when people approach this instrument to realize that you're really playing two different instruments. You're playing this, a gourd, you're playing this. everybody out here is much more African than they realize. I was listening to Dr. Bernice Johnson Reagan, Curator Emeritus, Smithsonian, and founder and artistic director of Sweet Honey in the Rock. And she was saying, well, look, if you're doing something, and it's not the way white people do it, it's African. Yeah, I guess you're right. Of course, unless it's Indian. And I was talking to an Anglo-American from Mississippi who said, look, Susie, I know. I lived in Canada. He was a draft dodger. I lived in Canada with those same people who left England and Scotland and moved to Canada instead of moved to Mississippi. I can see the difference that the Africans made in the culture, and I'm so glad that I was in America. So, demonstrate. Everybody do this. What you say? Come on, what the rock people say? What the rock and roll educators, what they say? They ain't sing it.
Where we go rocking.
See? For those of you who don't know, that's, like I just read the article thing in the newspaper that they wrote about me in the back. And I said, that's the main thing you talk about. I'm a drummer! See how we stopped? I played the break, we stopped. Drumming is not buckshot. Drumming is not spotlight. Drumming is an industrial labor. Very specifically too. You know. Much different. You know. And then Eleggua. We are going to hit you at this point in your medulla to let this certain thing go so that everyone can use that. Because those other folks are coming and we got to deal with it. So you play. And you know, you play your iron. We'll talk more about iron later on in the program. But, so we played that. So, like I tell you, if you all were like in Holland, that wouldn't have worked. That would not have worked. Not that fast anyway. Also, that whole system of, you know, paternalistic benevolence that the slave owners had towards the chattel. If you go to Africa, it's much closer to the African system, social systems of the big families being responsible for the community than the European feudal system. It's an African system. It's not the feudal lord system. It's not a European system. So you may think that the Africans be like, that's the kick my butt all the time. But they said, no, we will be servants, but we will be servants this way. Very, very interesting. Which is another thing I want to bring up. I'll say it really quickly. I don't have proof of this, but oh, that's right. Name an American-made instrument. Banjo. One. What else? Didgeridoo. You know where Didgeridoo got his name from, right? African instrument, well, syncretic African instrument. You know, there are many different one-string instruments in Africa. And the United States version of that is called a Didgeridoo. You take wire off the broom, tie it to door jamb, 2 nails, put a bottle underneath for a bridge, and strike it, and then put another bottle to it to bend the note. It's a slide guitar, and it comes from Hawaii. It came from African tradition. And those old bluesmen, most of them started out on the dizzy bar. Before they went to the 6th string, they learned to play the 1 string. Old African tradition. It's not like 16, 19, go for it. It's like, things have been continuing. All right. So, also, drum set. Over in Africa, you have a complete orchestra all the time. Let's see, you have the dundumba for that, and you have the singers, then you have the other percussionists, and you have the dancers. Then you have the priest on the side taking all the energy and doing what has to be done. But then you get to the States, you don't want those drums anyway. So what you gonna do? You can't have this 20-person orchestra happening. So what they do? First they do this. Right now, my point is where drum set came from. And you go to, you got New Orleans. Everybody says about New Orleans bands and all that stuff. You had different people. You had one person. Part of the orchestra, and instead you have that, up here. Frustrating. All that came together. I mean, you have people, you got people from all these different countries, but put together on purpose so they couldn't talk to each other. So what they do, you go, you know what that means, sir? Everybody got that? You go. It's the same as just translate. The one place in the Western Hemisphere that they outlawed the drum, what'd you come up with? Instead of going, This drum is so popular right now. It's called Djembe. French spelling D-J-E-M-B-E, some people J-I-M-B-E or something like that. Anyway, it's a chalice-shaped drum, you know, like a wine goblet. And some people say that this drum was one thing, and this drum, which is my own version of the bass drum of that orchestra. Traditionally, bass drum has a skin on both sides. But I'm an American now, we told Toby. So, had to hook it up the way it needs to be done. So it has a head just on one side. But it can still function as song function. But it can also function as Ashiko or Konga or Djembe or whatever I need it to be to function. But anyway, they say that this drum came and met this drum. And together they formed the family that they are today. Now this drum, one of the things that I think makes it so powerful is the fact it's got got that in it. No matter what you play, that, playing it right, is always there. So, I'll do a medley of rhythms here. Just to give you a little taste of the djembe drum. They're making a lot of them in Ghana now, even though they're not very few are found there, I'll put it that way. Because remember, these colonial lines, let me make a prediction. Earth will never be peaceful as long as the colonial national boundaries are intact. I mean, if you read Of Water and the Spirit by Mande People, his people, you know, by the Berlin Conference of 1886, got broken up into 3 different countries. Some English speaking, some German speaking, some French speaking. So you're going to have problems until the people can get right back. No, that's right. Remember in South Africa, when they have the elections and the Zulus making all that fuss? Because the Zulus were coming down, coming around Southeast Africa and coming toward the Cape, what is now the Republic of South Africa, right at the time the English and the Dutch came in. And they got stopped. They fought like hell. And then as soon as that pressure went off, they went right back to what they were doing 200 years ago. Right? And then they still on. Because peoples have to grow the way they have to grow. And you may, you know, stick a stick in an anthill and dig it up for a minute. But the anthill's going to go right back. You interrupted how I was growing. You know, you may be the child, but they're going to eventually stick their hand in the socket and get burned. Or something similar. So I'll do a quick medley of djembe, just so you can hear how it goes.
Shout. Shout.
Main Carolina. Okay, that stuff from before, the Shekere was from another part of West Africa. Mandinka is further west. And according to theorists, the Mandinka people were, even though the report says that 20 negros from Angola were dropped off in 1619, the predominant influence in early America was from Mandinka people, because the Dutch and the Portuguese and the Swedes had been in that upper Guinea area, in the Senegal area. First Africans they snatched to work with the Pilgrims. You know how the Pilgrims paid for the second Thanksgiving? They sold the Indians that from the first Thanksgiving down to Barbados to work. Those were the people that came over first. People from Senegal, we had Mandinka type people who came to those first plantations in Maryland and Virginia. And that's why you have Banjo appearing in those places first, in 1700, because that's the kind of culture that dropped off there. Then later on, in the mid-1700s, you also find in Virginia a perfect untimpan Ashanti drum in Virginia. Now, I have to do more research on that, because originally it was designated as Indian drum. So I have to find out whether that means Sir Hans Sloane, whose collection found at the British Museum, thought that it was an Indian drum, or what I would like to believe was that it was found in an Indian village. But you know that the reds and the blacks hanging out together. But that's speculation. I have to read the accession record to find out what it says. If there is an accession record, it might just say Indian drum, you know, collected before 1708 in Virginia. Okay, now these people, the Mandinka people and the Mandinka influence people are like Senegal, Mali, Guinea, over there, Sierra Leone. Now you come back around by the Benin toward the Gold Coast and the Slave Coast to get to Yoruba and Yoruba influence people, which is where the Shekere people came from, the Eleggua people. Now, the Yoruba people, very, very, actually, a lot of West African cultures are very, very hierarchical. You have Oba, you have the Oni and Ife, and you got priests and judges and lawyers and magistrates and all this stuff. You know, you have your kin, your mother's brother that you have certain obligations to, and your father's family has certain obligations to. It's a very, very, very structured society. And in the New World, that structure is what held many, many communities together. I mean, if you look all over the place, you look in Venezuela, you look in Colombia, you look in Cuba, you look in Mexico, you find these strong Yoruba influences in all these cultures all over the place. Because they had that deity system, which could absorb. In Brazil, you know, forgot about that. Puerto Rico, you know, all over the place. You look and you find Yoruba stuff. Which brings me to that thing that I was going to say, but I'll say it now anyway. This again came to me just like the thing came to me about, you know, everybody's history is supposed to stop when you get to the Atlantic. I think it's not just we don't want to teach the Africans about their past. I think we want to forget about everything and just let's all be Americans now. I really think I think African Americans are taking it too personally. Because I think Euro Americans are just doing for African Americans like they're trying to do for themselves. Just be Americans now. I got my butt kicked over there. You know, I had to work for 7 years when I got over here. Let's just leave Virginia and go to Georgia, okay? Farm, all right? So Yoruba influence is everywhere because they had that system. But one thing, Europeans tried to enslave Indians. Didn't work. Indians weren't used to answering to anybody like that. Africans were. You have the open obligation to the king, the obligation to the priest, you have the obligation to the men's society, you have the obligation to your age set, the obligation to your parents' side of the family, and all this stuff, so you're used to fitting into an urban system, which the Native Americans around here were not. The Africans were. So it was easier for them to be enslaved, or to work within a system, not just like to be enslaved, but to work within a system, within an organized urban type system. Anyway, that's Yoruba stuff. So I'd like to do another song from the Yoruba tradition, but this one is from Juba. And I'd like to use it also to illustrate some of the subtleties of this music. Stop that. And it seems obvious the difference, but I mean they were doing it in performance. It's coming out wrong. So it's real subtle stuff, but that's what makes the difference. That's what gives you an American. So, let's do a song. Well, Shun is sweet water. She's like, people, when they play drum, they always go, bring it, bang, bang, bang. When you're talking. Get girls flat, but whatever. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Another people. Remember Biafran War? Nigeria in the 60s. What happened? The English came in, and they realized there was an enmity between the Ibo people and the Yoruba people. The Ibo were picked on by the Yoruba, so when the British came in, they put the Ibo in charge. So the Ibo would be a buffer, so that all the Yoruba who got all this stuff taken would resent the Ibo for being the administrators of the British system instead of the British. And since they had enmity already, what some of the Indians in Trinidad and South Africa. And so when the British left, Yoruba went nuts on Igbo. But this place in the Sea Islands, St. Simon's Island, Georgia, called Ibo Landing. And I got this off my tape, this story, from people down there. And I'll do that. And I'm going to do this in a combination of ethnic techniques. This is a gourd from Mali. Now, calabashes are used over there, over here, you're using for a hat. Seriously, use them for, put them on the baby kit. Use them for water vessels, use them for sacred things. You also use them for instruments like the Shekere. Another thing they do is this. Actually, the Igbo don't do this, but people over here, they ring. So it's not a tradition like that. Among those first people, but they take this ring and story of Ibo Landing. And when they got here, the other Africans told them what was up. Well, this is boys, and they had it up the only way they could. Just turn around. Actually, they didn't even turn around. The story goes. It was back right off the pier, right into the water. And the story that goes along with that. All right. Another audience. Okay, everybody. Everybody's got time.
Ambo.
No, Ambo is this.
Oh, okay.
But, we were running. Come back.
We read it.
Written basic. Da, 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 Juba this, Juba that. Juba kill a yellow cat. I don't hear nobody. Oh, well, I gotta get my words out. What up with the words? There you go. What? Come on. Shut. Listen, I don't know. I mean, you got This is from Benson Jones, who was a brilliant folklorist from the St. George's Island. All right. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to read this, so please forgive me. But you do Juba this, Juba that. Kill a yellow cat. Juba this, Juba that. And get off the dumb trouble, Juba. Ha! Get off the dumb trouble, Juba. One time singing Juba this, Juba that. And Juba kill a yellow cat. No! Juba this, Juba that. Get off the dumb trouble, Juba. Ha! Get off the dumb trouble, Juba. Ha! Flip the meal, give me the hut. The meal and you give me the cook the bread and you give me the crust. You cook the bread and you give me the crust. Fry the meat and give me the skin. You fry the meat and you give me the skin. And that's where my mama's trouble begins. And that's where my mama's trouble begins. And then Juba, ha, Juba, ha, sing it Juba, ha, Juba, ha, and Juba this, Juba that, Juba kill the yellow cat, get out of trouble, Juba, ha, one more time, Juba this, Juba that, Juba kill the yellow cat, get out of trouble, Juba, ha, Juba, ha, Juba, hey, sing it Juba, hey, Juba this, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, you can stop. Okay. Give me some of a hand. Now, when I was at this Ozark Banjo Festival, the only line that shook the motion, that's the way it is in the book. Go ahead, keep it up, go ahead, that was good. you have, you got that, and you got that, you got translated. And then your shoulders, USS. You have the, just like in Cuba, you have let's see what I said I was supposed to do. All right. Banjo, right? This banjo, so glad I got this one. Because this one is made by a drum company. The Slingerland Drum Set Company, they made the banjos for a while. This was made in 1937. Pretty bad. I went to why am I doing this? You know, a lot of people, well, my wife especially, why are you playing the banjo? But she asked that for a different reason. Why are you playing banjo? Why am I playing banjo? Because when I got to New York to do my studying, I was working with these people, do all this stuff, and people from Africa would come over, we'd get a little more, Well, that song, Jolly song, heard griot? Don't say griot. French went to West Africa, so these African men and women singing and receiving compensation for them. Look at them damn beggars. That's got that. So, in griot, always the griot, No, Jalea. Jalea. J-A-L-I. Jalea. When you say bard, you say troubadour. Another guy. Little editorial comment, way off to the side. But I was, everybody heard Ozark stuff? She's Lincoln? President Lincoln? She used to be. Anyway, she said if these people can say Brezhnev, Tchaikovsky, they can say Zucker. What's this? Sue de Hall? I don't think I'll call you Sue. That happens all the time. And Africans come over here and get on my nerves. Your name is your name is Amadou. I'm just gonna call you Al. But if it was like Solzhenitsyn, there's no problem with that. What was I talking about? Talking about Jalea. Yeah, Jalea, Jalea. That's what I'm saying. The words are very simple. Yeah, Jalea. Yeah, Jalea, Allah, Jalea. God is greater than Jalea. That's literally what it says. But the implication in all that is bang. And bang, you got to stuff down. Jalea, but this person is bad. They know this stuff. They hold our history in them. But power comes from God. They may be bad, but it's not them who's bad. God works with them. So anyway, we learned stuff like that. We learned songs and stuff like that. But then after a while, one of my teachers told me, he said, boy, you have to go to Africa and sit at the elder's feet, or you have to start sitting at the elder's feet over here. And again, since I knew people over here, it's like I went to New York, I didn't go to New York after. So I started learning tapping, and Lindy, and Hooking, and Banjo. Because, you know, Cora is, I'm doing like that, you know, it's quite easy to do one Cora, one Banjo. But, you know, Banjo represents me, personally. How many of you were ever, like on the playground at school, where somebody came up to you and said, "You're in my spot," or in line, and somebody said, "But you got your pockets," or somebody, you know, you eat some candy and say, "I like that." Anybody experiences like that?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Banjo. I got it back. Follow what I'm saying? You know, that's why I'm willing to be the only black person for 100 miles. That's the price I got to pay. Look at this. Can you read that? What does it say? Banjo is the mojo of the day. Follow what I'm saying, boy? Jewish guy that made this logo made sure he couldn't tell the person was black or white in that. Good. Because just like when you do calypso, I need to talk about the I know my accent song. You know, the way they do the same thing, that kid is you put one gun. You know, tell a story about it. Wrote a song about it. It goes like this. You remember that from the Living Call. That was deep folklore. That was some deep stuff that was happening right there. And all these people that are so happy to put on their kente strips, but they're afraid to be associated with this. Like, I talked with the person that got me interested in this 25 years or so ago. Taj Mahal put out an album. It has some bad banjo stuff on it. And I have like 4 copies of that LP. Because I always get an extra one just in case I wore out. You know. And I did an interview with him recently over the phone. And I asked him, "Why you do it?" He said, "Man, I didn't want to do it." They all that just black chicken local cool Baptist begging big group stuff with it. But if you're going to get deep into the blues, or you're going to get deep into African Americanism, you're going to have to come there if you want to go back. Like, it's like people, they want to do John Coltrane without playing in R&B groups or big bands. Because that's 2/3 of what Coltrane learned. Is through playing hear the same structure of what I did? So that's what he's doing. So you can't go to the king and start there. Then you gotta go to where they start. And that's why I'm on that. Thank you. I'm sorry, I meant to say this earlier. I'm sorry, if I say anything that you don't, that may be wrong, correct me now, please. You know, if you have any questions, anything like that. Are there any questions now or comments now before we go? I mean, what I just done before? Will you come and sing it? Please. So, because you hear me mess up when I try to sing it for you. And then, see, this is the other thing. See, usually you have the troubadour, all right, a couple of sisters hanging here, playing these, I forgot what you call them. Or they have a board, in the lap, you know, sitting there on the ground, and they're playing the chords. You can go with it. Anybody gonna play this, or anybody gonna play these things? Come on, Tabla. Anybody? You got the Central African dance movement, all that blues stuff, and then you have the swing from Savannah, Africa, all together in people doing all this straight out of Congo. You got straight out of Mali on top. Are you a dancer? Okay. That's good stuff. Okay. That's nice. Hey. There it is. Okay. I'll forget that. I'll still work on that. We're going to talk about iron. Four. Iron. Iron is very, very important. You don't have to study to smell iron in your village. That's very, very hard to get your food. The blacksmith, iron press, very, very important. And Dr. Spriggs and I were talking about the Iron Man. I mean Iron John. Even though his name was John, he was related to iron. How about this John? that song. That's amazing. All black people sing a song about this black man. And think about it, this is a black man, and you always, almost always, the song always talk about his hard-working wife, and the son's going to carry his legacy on. Kind of belies inner city youth, doesn't it? I'm going to try and do another song right here. I brought this thing and got this thing up, man. Nice enough to put this thing up in the place. How y'all doing, okay?
All right.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Do this real quick, and I'll let y'all go. I know you want to be waiting.
Take your time.
Thumb piano.
Yeah.
Y'all call that 88 key thing fingertip computer? So why is this a foam piano? It's not trying to be a piano. It's never piano. Never tried to be. It's not a foam piano. Mbira. Mbira is what they call it in Zimbabwe. They have like 25 key instruments. You play with two fingers, you play with two thumbs and fingers, and they are bad. They use them in their religious services, calling down the ancestors. So that's Mbira. Kalimba, Hugh Tracy, this Anglo-South African ethnologist, made a westernized version of this instrument and, trademarked it Kalimba. So there are like Kadimbas and Likembes, so it's very similar to the traditional name, but it's, it's westernized. See if I can do this. Oh, Africa, the land of the drum, right? You heard that, right? Africa's drumming, right? Found out there are also 4 kinds of harps in Africa. So all you people call yourself Africans, from everybody's drumming and nobody plays nothing else, like Banjo, or Mbira, or Mbira, or Djembe, Rakhala, Makora, Makra. Macho, you can drum it. Yes. Because that's what you saw in the Tarzan movie. You saw drums. You saw naked people playing drums. You didn't see no old elders telling the story of the family with a harp and invoking with a harp. You didn't see that. So, I spent a lot of time in New York, you can tell, right? Electronic thing. You have to depend on it. Power blew out. I'd be like, wait, where was I? How
What was Oklahoma? What do you find there? What do you find in the West? What do you find? Someone where did it come from? Sweet music. Someone tell me. Okay. Once again, I will speak to you of history and now. Look north of New Orleans, look south of that. What do you find? The sea to take you to where you want to be. Perhaps I Saint-Domingue is a bit of history. Look into the records and what do you find? That back in that town at the end of the line, when you ride the Mississippi, you will find that the language they had back then, way back before the English came in, the language that they had there for the African was Bambara. La langue créole to New Orleans was Bambara. And north of that passing away you find Kansas City, the birth of one who will speak to you. What came there with J. Maction and new man named Count Basie, land of
One thing you find out. Hopefully, no. Hate to change it up. I was like, yeah, this is good. That's the way you sitting around. That's the way you tell stories. You know, I was making it up as I went along. You know, the whole thing, melody. That's the way it was. I was there, put myself out there. Take out the head. Indian country, Oklahoma, you know, Black Cherokee, Black Choctaw. And you're going right up there, you get James Chan, you got all the Kansas City swing stuff, I say. Things that make you go, Now, I'll do one thing. Yes. brother asked about capoeira from Brazil. It's martial art. The national sport of Brazil is capoeira. I think it's capoeira regional. That's what it's probably the national sport, not capoeira Angola. We know what that is. Yeah, we know what that is. I mean, capoeira, he said, what's that got to do? Capoeira is, just as the instrument berimbau, is a syncretic circumstance. Like banjo is a mixing of the ngoni and nakalam and some other instruments, African instruments. You have people from different peoples kind of came together and made banjo, same thing, making the berimbau. There's an article by this guy in Experimental Use of Instruments, which is a newsletter, which is important. This guy traced the history of berimbau and looked in old Portuguese accounts and also looked in old Brazilian accounts. And there used to be like 5 or 6 different what's a berimbau? Excuse me. Berimbau is like this. Take a special tree, and now what they do is they take a wire out of a tire, tie it, and make a bow. Then small, turn that off. Take a small board and tie it. This string, so the vibration of the string comes through and goes into the board resonator. And you play it. Actually, this is what I usually play with berimbau. Just this. And then you have a horn, the brown, like the brown, which you use to change the ding 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 ding. You have that going on. You're playing the tonic and sub-dominant, I think how it's over. And then you also have kashishi. You have a shaker in your hand. So you're playing this thing, and you're doing this, and you're playing this other thing here, and you're singing. And doing this. And then if you're the leader of the whole other circle for capoeira, you have to watch that because berimbau is the one singing, telling people it's time to put their crap out and get back down here and chill out before somebody gets hurt. Capoeira is martial art from Brazil. Much of it is from Angola. That's East Central Africa. The Candomblé houses, I mean, when people told me, you know, when you're doing capoeira, you're Oxalá and Ogum, which makes sense. Because the Ogum, which is martial, it's Mars, Aries, and then Oxalá, which is like Saturn. So Oxalá means clean. You know, your Godhead, your selflessness, and your martiality. So people that are in that, but as I haven't heard about, you know, capoeira, Escola de Capoeira being officially part of any candomblé houses or macumba houses. Of course, if you're in Brazil, you're a member of a candomblé house, you may just happen to be a capoeirista. And, you know, everybody, you know, what you're doing. Not like that, you know. Now but they're from out of, I mean, then there's, you know, macumba, I think has more Central African than candomblé, I think. So, because the capoeira has more Central African in it. So maybe, I'm just saying maybe. Just conjecture. There's more of that in here. That helping? Did anybody else get what I was saying? Anybody else? Okay, capoeira. Do it like this. Capoeira. fight, right? But if you good capoeira, you could I could have said, if I think, I'll figure out a way to fight. And the basics for capoeira is Ginga, which is basic dance. That's how the main action is alive. Because Portuguese, Brazilians, thought they were just dancing and having a good time. Actually, anybody ever saw Black Orpheus movie? The character of Death does capoeira. If you remember, Eurydice gets cornered. Eurydice gets cornered. There! Right to life again. Eurydice gets cornered. Death comes in and goes to her. That's capoeira. If anybody saw Janet Jackson's video, I think it's all right. That one. You'll see back in the corner. No, Holiday. Escapade. Back in that video, you see a couple guys bare chested with striped shirts doing that. That's capoeira. You see in Lethal Weapon, Gary Busey and Mel Gibson. You do a little bit of capoeira in that. And you see, you get the move over the strong, which is about capoeira. But that's capoeira enough. See what happened in 1930? Huh? Back in the 1930s, you were capoeirista, and nowadays you like would have had your pants down here, everything. You know, gangster, that's the capoeirista. This capoeira, gangster, hood, that's all he was. So, somebody decided to cross over word. Mr. Bim, he founded a school of capoeira that to go there, you had to prove that you had a job or were enrolled in university. So guess who was excluded? Guess who was going? So, and he also started putting in, what's it called? The French, what's it called? Savate, thank you. We started putting savate in it and a little jiu-jitsu, a little karate. So what happened? Capoeira went from when being like this to this. And you do this like this. And I was studying with Major Green, and I started doing a takedown move, do right to the camera. Because right here, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm going to say, bam! Because you a fool. Turn your back, Tony. It's just like you're playing basketball and you're hot. Fake up. Bam! So that's cut. That's a little bit cut. Oh. Okay. Yeah. You want to say something else? No. Okay. It's a real spot. Okay, this is I was living in New York. Trash. Halsey and Malcolm. Marcus Garvey Boulevard. Reed Avenue. sit down and read after me. Saw this, and it has this ridge down here. I can make a drum out of it. So I did. Now this, actually I shouldn't be using it. This is polyvinyl chloride. You know, chlorine is very, very toxic. But it was cheap right in front of me. I haven't finished because I'm going to put a coating on the side. This is a version of Didjeridoo, which is an Aboriginal trumpet. Now, I've been going around, people do trumpets all over the world, so. And in a Khan culture, like a Shanti culture, they have hourglass-shaped drums. But the drums don't talk. But the trumpets do. Just like I said, they'll tell the story of the king. The trumpets, antelope blowing trumpets. And then so it's like talking trumpets, talking horn. But anyway, I'm going to play this. I'm going to do this whenever. They use this ceremonially when they're reciting their words of power. They use this to amplify it. Country Jordan, R&B and country stuff. And later on he did Super Soul Brother. Oh yeah! But among the songs he did. Everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody, 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 everybody loves Saturday night. Little jump blues kind of boogie kind of thing. Well, come to find out, I got Quake. I like God. Saturday night. Everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody, 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 everybody loves Saturday night. This is the big finale. Come on, we gotta do this together. 5, 6. Everybody loves Saturday night. Everybody, 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 everybody loves Saturday night. One more time. Huh? 5, 6, 7. Shake hands. I remember a couple of the verses like this. Saturday, you stay up late. That's the night you take every night. If you wake up feeling dead, Sunday you feeling dead. Everybody, Saturday night. What am I playing? Watch. have your rings on your fingers as you play the chord.
You got it.